Welcome back to Tea Time Talks, and today I'm starting my day not with the tea but with hot chocolate. This is also an instant type that I bought from Jordan, so hopefully it will be good. At least it smells delicious, but it's too hot, so let's keep it aside for a moment. My morning snack today is this little guy. This is Nopper chocolate. I highly recommend it if you didn't try it. At least this is the very delicious alternative to the rest of the chocolates that are boycotted now. And today I'm going to have the coconut flavor since this is the most favorite one. But the most important thing is today's topic because I also like horror movies, and you can tell it by the shirt. However, a couple of days ago was released a movie called Until Dawn, and I did play the game. That's why I was super excited to see it in the theaters. Plus, it was a very nice gathering of our families, and I was so much impressed with the movie that I decided I need to make some kind of a review. And when, if not today, right? As I mentioned before, the movie is Until Dawn, and if you didn't play the game or if you don't know about the game, it was released in 2015. I guess it's exclusively on PlayStation, but I'm not sure about that. However, at the time when it was released, I didn't even think that I will have PlayStation. So I just watched the gameplay. It was PewDiePie at that time who played it first, or at least the first one that I saw. So I was so excited. I really loved the idea of it's like a horror movie, but you can kind of decide what you can do, how you can advance your characters, you can save them or you can flop them and they will die. However, I could manage to put my hands on PlayStation 5 when it was 2022, maybe. And by that time, I mean, it's been 7 years, I already forgot about Until Dawn's existence. And eventually, after I played all the greatest games on the PlayStation 5, I was like, oh wow, there is Until Dawn. I actually already played Anthology, the horror Anthology of Horror. Please correct me in the comments if you know. But I liked it a lot, so I was expecting Until Dawn to be even better. Spoiler alert, I didn't really find it as fascinating, but at the same time, the Anthology of Horror was released years later, so of course they added some features and the graphics was better. So this review is not about the game, but the whole opinion was that I really liked the idea of this game when I watched the Let's Play, and I kind of enjoyed, but not till the fullest when I played the game myself. Alright, so what do we know about this movie is that it's based on the game. Well, it's kind of happening in the same universe as the game, because even if you saw the trailer, you know that the actors are not the same people as were in the game. Anyway, what do we know about the movie? It was based on the game. Well, actually it happens in the same universe as the game. The original cast didn't participate in the creation of this movie. The director is David F. Sandberg, and the production, as I understood, the PlayStation itself made their own movie company, which is, in my opinion, is not such a bad idea since they will have rights to make many more other movies. I did some digging and I found out that the movie was actually planned just a year ago, like in January 2024, and they started filming in August 2024 and they finished in October. And there are not so many characters. But what was the most uh, fun fact for me is that the filming took place in Budapest, in Hungary, and it's literally where I'm live. So I was like, I was so close and I did not know about it. Oh my god. And I saw a lot of names of the people who were working on this movie, like the filmographers, and I was like, yay, it's Hungarian names, I can recognize them. I'm just figuring out that I don't know the budget of the movie. I checked it and it is $15 million, which is not that much for a movie. But at the same time, they didn't use too many locations, there weren't too many actors. As I understood, all of them are like young beginners who, me personally, don't remember seeing them in any big movies or series. But I was completely satisfied with the CGI or the special effects makeup they were using. Actually, I couldn't even tell. Like for a while, I was literally looking into the makeup and I was like, is this a CGI or a makeup? So they did a great job. It literally blends in and you can believe that this person has this kind of shit on his face. The movie itself starts slow, and I would say that first 30 minutes maybe a little bit obvious, especially if you saw the trailer. Because as for me, I already knew that was going to happen because of the trailer, so I was kind of like not surprised. In me personally, I prefer not to see the trailer because it kind of gives you like this intrigue. I can't say that the music was on its best. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't something amazingly that I would separate and praise it. But it was there. And since the movie was filmed in like recent years, like literally a year ago, of course it's made mostly focusing on Gen Z, since they are now the teens. They are those like 20 something year olds. And I personally was surprised that the movie didn't irritate me, because I watched a couple of movies on Netflix that were also targeting the same auditory, and I was absolutely annoyed by the how 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 many goofy stuff they had in it. The way that the horror movie stopped being horror movie, like it's maybe it's horror because there is like blood and killings and stuff, but it's not thrilling. Like it's not. There is no suspension. There is no even the screamers are not the same anymore, at least in those Netflix movies, like All Your Friends Are Dead or something, those movies that have like the title as if they're writing a whole thesis on it. So even though this movie is targeting Gen Zs, me as the millennial also enjoyed it, and I would actually recommend it to anyone who likes horror movies. And I also want to give my personal rating, which is I can decide between 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10 because it's just so good. I will give this movie a rating of 8 out of 10. And now let's make a break for the hot chocolate. It's already warm chocolate, but anyway. I feel like I put too much water. This happens because I do have like huge mugs that are like 200-250 milliliters, and they suggest to add only 150-160 milliliters of water, so my eye is not so straight all the time. But anyway, I do enjoy this hot chocolate. It has the flavor of milky chocolate, but it's not too milky. Like I think maybe they add some dark chocolate in it as well. Me personally, I also prefer to add whipped cream on top and put some marshmallows that I can put on fire, and maybe some sprinkles. But of course, it's just for like a beautiful effect. It doesn't affect the taste. And I'm happy with the sweetness because this hot chocolate is sweet enough, but it's not too sweet. If you don't want to spoil the movie for yourself and you want to watch it with your friends in the movies, please do. And check this timer. I'm going to get back to you with the hot chocolate and its rating. And for those who stayed, I believe you already watched this movie, or maybe you just don't care about it enough, or maybe you're not afraid of spoilers. So let's start with the plot. The plot of the movie doesn't repeat the plot of the game because it's different story, those are different people, even what is happening, like the area where it's happening, the location where it's happening is different. I mean, it looks different. We have 5 teenagers. Have the main character who is looking for her sister who disappeared, and the last time she heard from her is a video message when she's standing in front of some a store in some countryside, and she's giving her a message. In my opinion, like literally the first thing I thought is that who is leaving video messages? Because it wasn't like, hey guys, like it wasn't posted on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. No, it seemed like it was a private message that person sent. Please, if you send video messages to your friends to let them know where you are or where you are not or anything, leave the comment and explain why do you do it. Because me as a millennial, I'm afraid to answer my phone calls, and you're just literally leaving the video. It's just weird. I don't know. Please, tell me, do you do that? And now together with all friends, they come to this like place where she was last seen. They ask a very suspicious looking shop assistant, and he tells them that yes, this girl is missing, and actually there are a lot of people gone missing in this particular place. Of course, they try to go there, and some crazy storm starts. It's like the wall of rain, they can't pass, and finally, suddenly, they just get to this like circle where the rain just doesn't fall at all, like it's just cleared. And there is a very old house, and they decided to get in. They didn't find any people in that area, so they just start looking around. They look around the house, somebody went to the basement, somebody stayed upstairs. At some point, a maniac appears and starts killing them all. And this is first 10-15 minutes. Like literally, all of them are dead. If you watch the trailer, you know that it is kind of like a Groundhog Day idea. And of course, it's modified a little. It's not the same night will happen to them. Every night will be different, but the idea is that all of them are gonna die before the night finishes. Of course, the first night nobody knew about it and they just legit died. The interesting for me was that every night when they come back, they have some kind of marks on their bodies. So, for example, if the guy died from a head injury on his face, I don't know, he will have a black spot on his face. And this cycle repeats itself many times, more specifically 13 times. When they just entered this house, they actually found a book that has the names of visitors. And one of the girls, she put her name in it. And then they find out that people who come here, they put their name and they stay for like 13 nights there. Of course, we can also think that they also have only 13 nights. So they can stay there, and after that, something happens to them. Probably they're gonna die. I mean, it's a horror movie, so they're gonna die. Every night there is a different scary thing is trying to kill them. The moment when it felt a little bit slow for me, because the second night was a little too slow. But I don't think I can blame the movie. I should blame my attention span, because it became much shorter than it was even 10 years ago. On the second night, it wasn't the maniac only, it was also a witch and some kind of ghost. So as you see, every night there is something new. And after they spend some time showing us very detailed the first and second night, maybe even third one, after that they literally skipped, like they just jumped. Of course, they were finding some kind of evidence, but at some point they just jumped, like literally from like night 4 or 5 or even before that to night 13, when they don't even remember what was happening before. And they also missing one girl. So it did look very suspiciously, because the most annoying, I believe it was the second or third night, when they decided to just stay for a whole night in the bathroom and not moving, like just to stay there, barricaded the house, the doors, so they don't let anybody in. And eventually they decided to drink the tap water that was like literally black in the beginning. So like already I don't really feel like drinking it right away, like maybe filter it a couple of times. But they all decided to drink it, even though like it's so suspicious. The water wasn't there from the beginning, and now suddenly it appeared. They drink it and they all die because it was poisonous. It was poisonous in a very funny moment, in a very funny way. It was explosive. So literally after they drink water, they explode. After fourth night, they decided just to skip. They just jump from 4th to 13th. And suddenly also one of the girls missing, and they don't remember anything. Like they struggle to remember what was happening before. They also have their bodies deformed, like something is wrong happening to them. Like one guy, for example, his spine starts showing, and they do explain it the way that when people stay in this cycle for like 11 days or so, they start turning into Wendigo. And I do appreciate bringing the Wendigo and There is also was that like water tower thing. I mean, they also brought it up, but they brought it like they just literally showed it, and I guess the explosive water comes from there as well. Basically, during those nights, they, instead of looking for information, were just, I don't know what they were doing, like, because they skipped, like, we don't know what was happening at that time. And at some point we actually meet this suspicious shop assistant, and I'm very happy they didn't hold this plot twist for too long, because everybody know they literally asked the same character, the same actor, Peter Stormare, to act the same character he was acting in the game. And honestly, he was my favorite character. Like, I didn't care about the main story. I didn't care about main people in the game. I like this creepy and funny looking psychologist. So he was my favorite character, and the fact that they brought him, I was almost screaming in the cinema, because I don't remember seeing him in the thriller. So eventually, we also learned that he's kind of ruling the night in there, and that one of them has to die. At least one of them has to die, so the rest could survive the night, and that eventually, if after 13 nights they will not survive, all of them are gonna stay there with the night. We do see the sister, the missing sister of the main character. She did turn into some kind of Wendigo monster thing. But yes, the main action kind of happens in the last night, and it was also not so slow. So at some point, I understood that the movie is like almost 2 hours, like hour and a half, and I don't remember where exactly was this time. Like, I don't remember checking my phone, checking how much time is left. Like, I was just genuinely enjoying the movie, and I didn't even notice that the time passed. Like, I was expecting them showing us every night, and I was looking forward to it, and then suddenly when they jumped from the night 4 to night 13, I was disappointed, because I do want to see everything. But of course, it's just a movie. You don't have all the time in the world to show all the nights, and that's why in my head I was like, oh my god, I want a series. I want to see all the nights, all the deaths. Eventually, in the night 13, they decide, yeah, we're gonna fight, we're gonna be so super focused and not die because we don't have any more attempts. So they are more like, they put their shit together and they decided to fight this bitch. And eventually they do. Of course, there is like a lot of running happening. They find out also about the mines, the mine accident that was happening in that city like 20 years ago or so. And they do go to different houses that are underground, so they're connected with this mine underground tunnels. And I absolutely love how they made those houses. I love how the idea that in the beginning they're like, oh my god, why this house has windows on the basement, and then they realize that it's because of the mine accident. The house just went down, and now the main entrance is actually like, you open it and you go into the tunnel. It's just so nice, like the way they made it. I don't remember much from the game. I played it like a couple of years ago, and I watched it like 10 years ago, so of course I don't really remember it much, but I was so entertained by this. Also, the last part, we see four characters who are going like all together. At some point, the main character separates, and she's looking for this main bad guy and for the Asian girl. I don't remember her name, so yeah, I'm gonna say that she's an Asian girl. What I thought, and I would not be disappointed if they actually use this theory, is that at some point this Asian girl survived the night. So all of them are dead, and they're doomed to turn into different types of Wendigos and stay in this night. But no, that was just my theory, and it didn't turn out true. So eventually, in the last 20-15 minutes of the movie, the two guys with the girl are running around from the different types of monsters. The main character is looking for the Asian girl, and she's looking for the bad guy. I guess his name was Dr. Hill. And she is finding the Asian girl, she's freeing her, she's killing the doctor, and of course, eventually, the doctor happens to be this person who's supposed to die during the night, like one person dies, and the rest can survive. And they do survive. They survive the night, they see the sunrise, they see that the wall of rain is gone, and now they can leave the place. Of course, in the end, they have a cliffhanger that signs that there is going to be a sequel, maybe, or maybe it's like a prequel to the game, because at the end they show like a bunch of monitors where there are hidden cameras in this place, and the house actually transforms. It looks different now. The house looks like a snowy cabin, and the way it looks inside and outside, it clearly looks like the cabin from the game. A sign that there is going to be a second movie that would include the cast from the main game, and they will actually come to that. I don't know. I'm would be curious, but also it's been 10 years. Those millennial teenagers that were millennials 10 years ago are not like that anymore. So I think I would personally just keep it this way and not explode this thought anymore. If you want to make something similar, you can make any other stories that are separate, maybe with other groups of teens, maybe including different scary stuff that there are in the game. But anyway, it's just it was just a good movie. I mean, 10 years ago, actually in 2013, so 12 years ago, I did watch Conjuring, and I kind of thought the same. I had the same feeling. I had the same satisfaction after I watched the movie. I watched Conjuring a couple of times in the movies. I watched it many more times after that, and I think this movie is also good. So if somebody in the company would be asking me like, hey, let's watch a movie, what can you recommend? I would definitely recommend this one. Of course, it had some kind of like funny moments. Like, for example, when they started blowing after they drank the water. Like, of course it's poisonous water. You can tell it right away because you have brain. It looks like they didn't, but you do. So you understand that it's of poison water and they're drinking it. Like, of course something bad is gonna happen, but not that they're gonna explode. Like, that's kind of so funny. Another thing I want to add is about the characters' behavior. As I mentioned, they do seem like they are in the same company and they're there not because they just told to be there all together, but in the same time, they don't act the way like, oh, I'm gonna sacrifice myself for you because we're besties for like many years. No, they kind of just being there, and if they don't really feel too much danger to themselves, then they would try to approach and save you. But if not, then no. I believe they made it kind of more realistic this way, and it didn't really bother me. Of course, they had jump scares, and all the jump scares were stupid in a way that it's a loud music and sudden appearance of a very scary face in your face. I did jump a couple of times, but I had the same thing with The Conjuring. I did like Conjuring for such jump scares, even though I hate jump scares in general because I feel like they're not fair. You're scared not because you're scared because something was unexpectedly jumped in your face and in your ears, especially. I think it's not as much visuals effects that affecting you, but it's the sound, very loud sound. Of course it makes you jump even if it was just a truck. Literally, the first scene, the first jump scare they showed, it was the fucking truck just passing by them and signaling very unexpectedly, and I did jump, of course. So I think this type of jump scares are not fair, but for this particular movie I kind of forgive it because at some point you just get used to them, and you already can expect that at some point they will show something scary and how they gonna show it, so you kind of predict it and you're more chill about it. And this moment when you conquer this kind of jump scareness, you kind of feel more superior. Anyway, I've had the same feeling about The Conjuring in 2013. I have the same feeling about Until Dawn in 2025. I love the movie. The Conjuring, for me, the first part, the OG Conjuring, is actually one of the best movies, and I rewatch it if I have a chance. Until Dawn, I did actually had the urge of replaying it. So it kind of motivated me, and maybe it's not as bad as I remember it, or like maybe I will change my mind now when I know more stuff about it. Another thing I really wanted to thank PlayStation production and the directors and the screenplayers for that is kind of lack of diversity, because you know what's happening. Like, I mean, we have many things we need to consider in society, using the non-binary pronouns, and we have the hetero and homo and bi and stuff like this. I mean, the LGBTQ problems and the agenda is always there, especially if we're watching a Netflix series, especially if we're watching HBO series. But PlayStation kind of didn't go there, so their characters were less diverse, and they did mention that one of the characters was bi. It's not like it actually matters, but it was kind of a point to identify and give us more details on the character. But there was no like useless stuff. Maybe the Asian girl was actually a transgender man, but they didn't mention it because it didn't matter for the movie, right? Joanne Rowling, Dumbledore didn't have to be gay for it. The movie didn't change from it. It didn't affect anything, and I hope it will not affect anything in the series as well. But you get my idea, right? Like, if it doesn't matter for the movie, then what's the point of mentioning it? And in this movie, maybe they did have like less diverse cast, but it didn't affect, and I believe it will only make movie more mature, I would say. Like, it's just more focused on the horror story itself and not on the agenda that we need to satisfy every type of people on earth. They didn't have overweight people, they didn't have blonde people, they didn't have ginger people, they didn't have transgenders. At least they didn't mention about it. They didn't mention people who use non-binary pronouns, and they can keep going with it. But all of it doesn't matter because it's not matter for the movie. I hope you got my idea. So including all that, and maybe the fact that I didn't really watch movies in the cinemas for so long, and I didn't watch horror movies for a while as well, hopefully it helps. My personal rating for the movie is 9 out of 10. And now let's get back to the tea. I'm gonna shut up and not say a word about the movie anymore, so our spoiler fears can come back, and I will rate this hot chocolate as well. Okay, so after it set for a while, you definitely need to shake it because all the cocoa powder goes on the bottom, which is normally happening to the hot chocolate. Why do I say about it as if you never had hot chocolate in your life? This hot chocolate is very good, like seriously good. If I will ever drink hot chocolate, I will drink this one. I will rate it as 9 out of 10 just because what if there is something better that I don't know? Of course, it's not like liquid chocolate going into your throat. I want hot chocolate, I would go for this one. So, and that was the end. I'm really happy you were here with me this morning. Have a great day. Bye.